Welcome back to the deep dive.
Good to be here.
Right, so we're the place you come to bypass all that information overload. We take the source material you provide, and we really get to the core of it.
They distill it right down.
Exactly. And today, wow, we're tackling film direction. We've got this text you sent over, really fascinating stuff. Outlines the essentials, technique, aesthetics.
And the psychology, which is...
Right, the psychology, that's what jumped out.
Yeah. Our mission today is really to get into the author's main argument. And it's a strong one.
Which is?
Basically, that real lasting success in directing. It's not about the gear, not about the latest camera or software. That stuff changes constantly.
Every few months, seems like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what doesn't change is, well, that deep knowledge of people, of how drama works, the fundamental techniques, that's the stuff that sticks, the real intellectual property.
And what's really striking is where the author puts the focus. It's heavily weighted towards the thinking part, the planning, the artistic prep before you even think about shooting.
Way before. Because the text makes this brilliant point. Equipment is just a magnifying device, nothing more.
A magnifying device? How so?
Well, think about it. If your vision is clear, if your structure is solid, your character's deep, the camera, the editing, it'll magnify that brilliance, make it shine. But if the prep is sloppy, if you don't really understand the characters or the story's weak...
then the fancy camera just magnifies the mess.
Precisely. It makes the flaws bigger, clearer. It won't fix a weak foundation. Absolutely cannot fix it.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And it leads right into why beginners often stumble, doesn't it? The text points out these 3 common faults. I think we've all seen these, maybe even done them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. First one. The story just feels copied, imitative. It doesn't have its own voice, lacks that dramatic punch, that real conviction.
Like you're watching something you've seen a dozen times before.
Exactly. Then the second fault, which is maybe more about understanding people.
Right.
The world of the film, the characters, they just don't feel real.
Yeah.
Not credible. And that shows, a lack of understanding of acting, maybe, but also dramatic structure and just how audiences perceive reality, even a fictional one.
And the third one, this one hits close to home sometimes, relying too much on dialogue.
Ah, yes. The theatrical film.
People just sitting around explaining everything. It shows, as the author says, a failure to grasp the power of cinema. The visuals, the sound.
Telling, not showing. It's the classic mistake.
So if you look at those 3 things, imitation, lack of credibility, over-reliance on dialogue.
Problems efficient, right? Internal stuff. Not technical skill, primarily.
Which brings us back to the beginning.
That's why the text insists. Before you even touch a camera, you have to figure out your artistic voice, your identity as a storyteller.
Okay, let's really unpack this core identity thing. The author calls it the mark. Is this just like artistic navel-gazing, or is there something solid here?
Oh, it's incredibly solid. Profound, really. The mark, as the author defines it, it's basically the sum total of you, your unique life experiences, your wounds even.
Your scars.
Yeah, your scars, your deepest beliefs, passions, maybe even the stuff you haven't quite figured out yourself, your unfinished business.
Okay.
And that unique combination that determines what stories you, personally, are equipped to tell with genuine passion, with authority. It's not about therapy. It's about finding the source of your conviction.
So it's where your passion meets your experience.
And your unique perspective. That's your philosophy. That's what lets you convince an audience. Without it, it's just technique.
The author even shares a personal story about this, right? It took them ages to figure out their own mark.
Yeah, one of them mentions making something like 20 documentaries.
20?
Before realizing, almost unconsciously, they were all circling the same theme. People feeling trapped, imprisoned somehow, but finding these ingenious ways to adapt or rebel or escape.
Wow. So you can be telling the same deep story over and over without even knowing it.
Because it often comes from that deep psychological place. Your own core stuff fuels the characters you're drawn to. Think about Francois Truffaut.
Right, at the 400 Blows, Jules and Jim.
Yeah, classic examples. Those films are just soaked in themes of, like, rootlessness, troubled love, the pain of childhood. And critics often trace that straight back to his own difficult youth, especially his relationship with his mother. But here's the key. He takes that very personal pain.
And makes it universal.
Exactly. He turns it outward into stories about the human search for love, for belonging, that resonate with almost everyone.
So it's not just about airing your issues, it's transforming them into something bigger.
That's the art. And that conviction, rooted in your mark, then drives everything else. It informs how you execute, which leads us to distinguishing the premise from the theme.
Okay, premise versus theme. What's the difference, according to the text?
Well, the premise is pretty simple. It's the plot summary, right? What happens, the action.
Like the log line.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But the theme, that's the deeper layer, the underlying message, the moral question, the intellectual idea. It's the soul of the thing.
And it's usually not spelled out.
Rarely.
Yeah.
It's implied. It emerges from the story, from the character's struggles.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that strong, compelling theme driving things, all the cool shots and editing tricks in the world feel, well, hollow.
Empty technique.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So once you've got that internal foundation, the mark, the theme, then you can start building the external structure. And the absolute engine of that structure, according to this text, conflict.
Conflict, no drama. Seems basic, but...
It is basic, but crucial. With that conflict, you just have, well, a sequence of events, a report, a travelogue maybe, not drama.
But how does the author define conflict? Is it always just, the good guy versus the bad guy?
Oh, definitely not. It's much more nuanced. Sure, there's the external stuff, person versus person, or person fighting against, like, society or nature. But the text argues that the really juicy stuff, the most compelling, psychologically rich conflict, it's often internal, or involves what they call duality, specifically right versus right.
Right versus right. Okay, I like the sound of that. It implies what? Both sides have a point.
Exactly. Both sides have sympathetic motives, maybe even good intentions, but they're fundamentally at odds. Their goals are incompatible.
Can you give an example, maybe not from a film, just life?
Sure. Okay, imagine you get offered your absolute dream job. Amazing pay, fulfilling work, but it's overseas.
Okay.
Taking it means pulling your kids out of a school they love, moving your spouse away from their support network, their job, your goal career, financial security, that feels right. Yeah.
Sure, for you.
But your family's desire for stability, happiness, where they are, that's also, right? There's no villain here. But the conflict is intense. High stakes. Someone loses something important no matter what. That's complex drama.
That really clarifies it. And it makes their film example, The Fighter, makes so much more sense. Because that film isn't really about boxing, is it?
Not fundamentally, no. It's about Mickey Ward fighting against, well, his own family.
His brother, his mother.
Yeah, even his girlfriend at times.
Yeah.
They all say they want him to succeed. They probably even believe it.
Right. They think they're helping.
But their own needs, their baggage, their methods, they constantly sabotage him. His brother Dickie genuinely thinks he's the key to Mickey's success, but he's actually a massive obstacle. That's pure right versus right, internal and external conflict all tangled up.
And this is where the stakes become absolutely critical.
Yes. Why does this fight matter? For Mickey, it's not just about winning a belt. It's about his whole identity, his future, escaping this destructive family dynamic. The consequences of failure have to be huge, existential for the character.
Otherwise, who cares? The audience checks out.
Exactly. If the stakes aren't high enough, even the most exciting action sequence feels pointless.
Okay, so high stakes, complex conflict. How does that play out moment to moment? This brings us to the dramatic beat, right?
The beat, yes. A term that gets thrown around a lot, but...
And it's misunderstood. I always thought it was just like a pause, a moment to breathe in the dialogue.
That's the common misconception. But the text defines it much more precisely. A beat is a moment that causes an irreversible change of awareness in a character, or multiple characters.
Irreversible change of awareness, like a aha moment.
Exactly. It's the instant where the character realizes something new, something that changes the game. Their understanding shifts, and because it's irreversible, their strategy has to shift too. They can't go back to thinking the old way.
Okay, let's use that subway example from the text. It really illustrates this.
Right, so you're on the subway. You spot a $10 bill on the floor near someone who seems oblivious, reading a paper.
Beat one. Aha. Free money. Opportunity knocks.
Awareness of opportunity. That's the setup. But then you glance up and you see two other passengers have also seen the money. And maybe the person reading the paper gives it a little side eye.
Beat two. This isn't just easy money. It's a competition. Maybe even dangerous.
And that second awareness.
Yeah.
It's irreversible. You can't unsee the competition.
Yeah.
Your whole approach changes instantly, doesn't it? From just grab it to how do I get it before they do, or without causing trouble.
Your strategy shifts completely.
That's the power of a true dramatic beat.
Yeah.
It forces change. It escalates the situation.
That's brilliant. It's like the fundamental building block of dramatic action. Get the conflict right, understand the stakes, and then structure it through these moments of irreversible change, the beats.
You got it. And mastering that is key, regardless of your budget or your camera. It's about controlling the narrative tension.
Okay, so we have the internal stuff arc, theme. We have the engine conflict, stakes, beats. Now, how do we assemble all this? This gets into story architecture, right? Manipulating time.
Absolutely. And here, the text makes another really crucial distinction, one that every director, every storyteller really, needs to internalize. The difference between story and plot, or narrative.
Story versus plot. Okay, why is that distinction so important? They sound kind of the same.
Well, they're related, but different. The story is simply the raw material. It's the chronological sequence of events, what happened from A to Z, the whole timeline.
Okay.
The plot, or the narrative, that's the art of it. It's the director's choice of which events to show, which details to include, and crucially, the order in which you reveal them to the audience.
Ah, so it's not just what happened, but how the audience learns about it.
Exactly. Think of it like telling a joke. The basic story might be simple, but the timing, the setup, the punchline, the delivery, that's everything. Same with film narrative. How you structure the telling dramatically changes the meaning and the impact.
And since films usually have to squeeze huge amounts of time, years, decades sometimes, into just a couple of hours.
Right, compression is fundamental.
Yeah.
So the director must choose an organizing principle for how they're going to handle time, how they'll structure that plot.
What are some common ways?
Well, the simplest is real time, though it's rare. Running time equals story time. Like Agnes Varda's Cleo from 5 to 7 follows the character for roughly 90 minutes of her life. But most films play with time. Frame narratives are really common. The main story is told in flashback, framed by events happening later. It's a great way to jump over long periods or provide commentary.
And the text uses the social network as a prime example here, doesn't
A
it?
brilliant example.
Yeah.
Because it uses two frame narratives running concurrently, the two different lawsuit depositions.
Right, with Zuckerberg being grilled.
Yeah. And that structure does so much work. It lets the film leap across years of the story. It keeps the tension incredibly high because you're always in this legal battle. And it gives you these conflicting perspectives on Zuckerberg and what really happened. Genius structure.
Totally. What about messing with time even more radically?
Well, then you get things like reverse chronology, ordering the scenes backward.
Like Memento.
The classic example. Christopher Nolan structures that whole film, mixing forward scenes in black and white with backward scenes in color, specifically to put you, the viewer, right into the main character's head.
Experiencing his short-term memory loss.
Exactly. You're as confused as he is, constantly trying to piece together what just happened, searching for that crucial bit of information. The structure is the experience.
It really drives home that point. Delivery matters more than just the sequence of events.
It's everything. Ultimately, the director has to establish a strong, coherent storytelling voice. The text on calls this the storyteller. That voice dictates the perspective, the style, the structure.
And that's why you can't just figure out the structure later. It has to be baked in from the start.
Absolutely. It has to be planned.
Oh.
Intellectually, emotionally, meticulously planned before you shoot. You can't just fix it in post if the fundamental narrative structure is broken. It doesn't work.
So, wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for someone listening, maybe an aspiring director or just a film lover?
I think the core message is directing excellence starts way before you shout action. It begins deep inside. It's about that rigorous internal work.
The 3 steps you mentioned?
Yeah. First, finding your mark, that authentic core of belief and experience. Second, understanding and crafting complex, meaningful conflict, like that right versus right idea. And third, mastering narrative structure using time, plot, and those crucial beats to engage the audience emotionally and intellectually.
It's less about the buttons on the camera, more about the structure of the soul and the story.
Well put. And the text offers this really liberating final thought, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It says, the goal isn't perfection. It's not about always getting external validation. Instead, directors should actively seek out characters and situations that stir something powerful in them, even contradictory feelings.
Embrace the messy stuff.
Exactly. Use your own scars, your unresolved questions, your inner conflicts as fuel. Turn that private struggle into public art that connects universally. It's about exploration, not just execution.
That's a powerful idea. Don't run from the difficult stuff in yourself. Use it.
Which brings us to maybe a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to kind of chew on.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you really looked hard at all the stories, all the films that have ever truly grabbed you, the ones that stick with you, what underlying recurring theme would emerge? What psychological imprisonment maybe, or what relentless quest keeps showing up? again and again. What might that reveal about the voice of your own inner storyteller?